Hello and welcome to part 3 of our Hobby Boss 135th scale Delta Force Fast Action Vehicle, or FAV. And we're basically picking up where we left off last time we were building, and we've got through most of the pretty complex sections for this build, which was all of this stuff up in here and this stuff back in here. So once you get through, I think we figured out it was sections 3 through 9, 2 pages. Once you get through all of this stuff, you're pretty good. So just kind of take your time when you're moving through these sections here, because they're a bit challenging and a bit fiddly. So, you know, just take that extra care. So not to say that we're out of fiddly little bits, but we have a couple left here. I don't think they're going to be too bad. We got this A-arm thing that's got to fit in here between the strut here. You can see with this assembly that we got. So once we get this piece together, we can get that on, and then we just have our muffler, I guess, with our exhaust system. We have this rack that's going to hold our air filters. We have this little pipe that fits in between, and this sort of rack, I guess, whatever, I guess it holds stuff or whatever above guard for the engine and stuff above here that goes together. And we've got our photo etch ready to go. So I think once we get the styrene put together for part 10, part 11, I think before we start slicing and dicing into parts 12, 13, or parts 13 to 14, or what's this, 12, there's no part, oh there it is, sorry, 12 through 14 here, I think we'll do the photo etch and we'll get it cut, whatever we got to do with the parts that go on. We know we have the panels that go here on the side, and we know there are going to be small panels that go on the light guards at the front, and there is some parts that go in here, right? So we've got a part that's going to go right here, and we've got some parts that are going to go in around in here. So I think this is a good time to whip out the photo etch. Once we get the styrene glued together up to there, and then we'll start fitting this in, and we'll make sure everything fits good. And yeah, we'll be pretty well complete by then. We'll definitely be able to get through the build today and into some paint. So I think we should be able to get her into a coat of primer and a base coat, which should be pretty cool. All right, well, I'm going to start assembling, so let's go. Okay, so we have these support swing arm, whatever thing here. So I'm finding what I'm doing is I'm drilling out these holes, because this is a square peg and a square hole, and at this scale, the molding with flat, it seems a lot easier for me. Now I get it, that's to position it, but this really can only go in one position once you know, hook these pins in and hook this to that. This is really where it goes. So I didn't think the square was that necessary to get position. So yeah, I just drilled this hole out round so that I can get it on, because yeah, trying to push these together was not really working. So yeah, I would be prepared to drill you know, drill out some holes so that you can get the parts where you want them, or at least I am with this kit. It's not a huge deal. You just have to be really careful And in some cases, when I had to go back, I was really worried I was going to break something. But we didn't. We haven't. Anyways, touch wood. We haven't broken anything yet. So that's good for us, because we're by no means like, you know, Mr. Super Pro Marvelous. Especially with the little fiddly parts. But I guess we're getting better. Hopefully we're improving, because we haven't broke anything yet. So, okay, now what I want to do is I just want to kind of get you to sit in there. On one peg so I can get the other one going. Well, get you to spread apart just a little bit more. But I didn't think fast forward was doing any of us justice once I got into these little fiddly parts. You do kind of get a gist of, you know, how things go, but I just thought for some of this it might be more advantageous if we just sort of, you know, sort of slowed it down. Not going to go super in depth with everything, but I thought in the odd part just to sort of slow down and give, you know, anybody who isn't building or isn't, you know, familiar with model building, what goes on, just a sense of, you know, like, okay, don't go at double speed, 8 speed or whatever it is I'm running that at. Just take your time and let things take their own course. Okay, so you can see that's a square, you know, head. So we're just gonna make that fit into our round hole. And you don't tell me you can't get a square peg to fit in a round hole, because I'm gonna do it right now. But that's what worked for me anyways, because I want these to fit tight together. I didn't want to have to force anything. Didn't want to break anything. We've already gone through that with a few builds. Okay, now we did knock our horn off. We can get him back on though. That's no big deal. Our little horn. So we'll get him glued back on. That's okay. That was a small price to pay. All right. Well, look at that there. Now, hoot nanny. That gets that done. I think that's the last of the really crazy stuff too, actually. I think that gets this intricate stuff together at the front. I think. There you go. Oh, did I fold that one upside down? Oh, I did. Can I loosen you? Oh, I hope that doesn't become an issue. Look at, see, there's a little mistake that I can already see that I made. So, yeah, I flipped this one over to kind of get the nub out of the way. Maybe I did. And look, see, that's keyed. So, can you see that there? There we go. So the ends of these posts have a key on them. They're and I have this one turned the same way as that one. It should be the other way. So I don't think that's going to become an issue that but see, there you go. Like, you know, take your time, pay attention to the smallest of details, because they may come back to bite you in the butt. They may not, but they may come to bite you in the butt. And if they do, you can always, in a lot of cases, if you're using Tamiya thin or even acetone, don't go liberal, but just with a little bit of glue, you can usually loosen off something that you've glued with it. So it'll loosen that, soften that plastic again, so that you can get another turn or another position. So really nice thing with the Tamiya glues, again, is that they allow you to do that. Okay, well, I guess we put together our silencers and our muffler system here, I guess. I'll just give this a bit of a sand. And I guess I'll put this together. This is all pretty explanatory. I don't think this needs much by way. So what I'm going to do is boop, boop, I'm going to put this section together, get it glued on, and then I'm going to glue this section together, get it ready to glue on, and we'll get this section together ready to move into the photo etch. This section up here. So we'll get this section up here ready to move into the photo etch. We'll get this section glued together, ready to put on, and then this section ready to put on, and we'll come back and we'll share that together. Okay, that gets us through the fiddly bits. I think we're pretty well through the most intense part of the construction. We have a little bit of melting to do, like just some little nubs that we forgot, but we can just sort of scrape a little bit here. I just want to let all this, you know, sort of set. Got a lot of sort of fresh gluing around the pieces here, so we're just going to let it set up before we get into our photo etch, which we are ready to. We've got our photo etch kit ready to go here, and we haven't done much photo etch on the channel. I don't have much experience with it. This stuff that we got to do isn't bad. We only got to bend up, I think, some hinges and some pieces, so not that bad, but I'm just saying not that challenging. Most of these pieces going flat, so we'll do this together. And I think before I get into the photo etch, I'm just going to let her sit and set up so that I'm not bending and putting things out of position while I'm moving it around and doing this. So I thought while that sets up, we could take a look at the companion kit that's going to go with this. And that is going to be, I'll pop it up over top of this here while we're doing this. And this you could find AliExpress and Amazon, and it's from a company UFAN. I'm not really that familiar with them, but I see this manufacturer again and again and again on dozens and dozens and dozens of resin kits, figures and stowage and stuff like that. Mostly, I think they do have a couple vehicles, but I would shy away from anything too complex that looks really impressive, because you, as far as I can find, no matter where you order them from, you don't get instructions. So you're on your own as far as figuring out how to get it together. So if you do follow the channel, you'll saw that we got our way through the other quad runner that we bought. And now we're going to get into this one. So these kits, they come usually in this little cardboard sort of box, generally packaged, and then they're packaged really well. They usually come individually bagged, and you have your parts, you know, separated. Now the only downside is, again, you don't get any instructions. So the picture that you have in the ad is really your instructions that you have to use for these kits. But you know, once you kind of get the layout of it, they're not bad. I was able to figure out the other quad runner. It did have a little problem with the handlebars fitting perfectly, but overall it was it's still a pretty cool kit, and I've ordered another one. I might order another two, but I've ordered another one of those quad runners and another one of these, because I actually think this one here, I think it's better quality. This resin feels really nice, and I think it's just, I don't know, it just seems like a better layout. So let's just take a look at some of our parts. It looks like we've got the back rack, it looks like, and the engine, or is that the bottom? Oh yeah, okay, so this looks like bottom part's going to clip together for our engine here, and here is the other part. So it looks like these are going to sort of work like this, sort of looks like that's going to click together in there somehow, something like that. I think putting together our main body, it looks like. And then here is, I guess, the top, the racks, the front and the back, our tie down racks. And there's really nice detail in these. They're clean, clean, clean. I think you'd see this front detail in here, really nice, like very nice casting. So you got this here to accept our rails that go up over top, tie stuff or clamp stuff too, lights, fog lights and guns and whatever whatever else. And let's look at the tires here. So the tires that you usually get provided with these kits are really, look at these, are no exception. Look at this. This to me, the tire detail is a real thing for me. This is something that I think really makes or breaks the realism with the detail, is the tires themselves. And these look really good. I mean, those look real. Those are really nice wheels, eh? Really nice detail there. Super, super, super nice. So this is going to be the companion build to go along. Once we get into paint, we get our camo on our FAV. We'll be gluing this together and getting this in a complementary paint scheme to go with our other guy. Here's our seat. This looks really nice. It's got the kinks in it, sort of, as it's folded along. The contour of the body, and get the little engine detail peeking in through the side of the covers, shield, the cowling. Awesome. Well, those are big bits. And let's take a look at the smaller bits. So I mean, there's not usually a whole bunch to these kits, so you know they're usually not that bad. Although there was a lot of stowage with the other one, and we still have stowage left from the first one to put with this one, so that's kind of cool. Good value. I think these things, the one ran about $20 something. You see them from 50 to 20, but if you keep looking, you can find them for under 20. And I think at that, they're really good value. Now, don't come to me with piracy stuff. I don't have a clue. Okay, I ordered from Amazon and I ordered from AliExpress, and as far as I can tell, they both came from the same distributors and the same packaging. So I don't know. I mean, if it's a thing, it's a thing. I don't know. So I don't think we're you know, cutting any corners here, but you never know, I guess. So I guess buy with your conscience. So here's, looks like we've got two sets of the same, so they might have doubled us up on handlebars, I guess, just in case. And then we've got our grips. They look really nicely molded, cast. There's our grips with our brakes. We've got some handles, some grab-ons. We've got the makings for our cage that go around. Nothing is buggered up, so we don't have any like miscast parts or anything. It looks like everything's intact. Got these parts here that look like they're going to go on sides of the, maybe for the feet, I guess, the rails for your feet to stand on. That's the console, I guess. Yep, here we go. It's the console. We got some other little small gas thing. There's your gas cap and some little bits. We'll have to look at the picture to find out where exactly these go. We've got more of our cage. Looks like perfect. Nothing's broken. Those are some small details, like delicate pieces too, so just be careful with those. We've got a lot of little small details in here. We've got some shocks. Got some little hooks, looks like tie down hooks. These are nice. Look at those. You see that in the bag, eh? Yeah, you can see that. Those are really well cast. So yeah, there's our shocks. We've got our springs coil over. We've got our other shocks. So yeah, lots of really nice detail. We have a bit of a wang, but that may be the way this piece is supposed to be. We'll see when we get put it together. I think we're going to give that a straighten though. It looks like that could take a soak in some water. It looks like it's malformed as opposed to supposed to be like that, but I don't know. We'll see when we get into her. And that kind of, I guess, is a quick look at the YUFAN Quad Runner for Special Forces. So I think these make a really nice detail with your 35th scale kits and figures. I don't know, they just kind of add that little sense of extra interest to the scene, and I think they look really good when they're done. We'll see how this one goes together as opposed to the other one, and you know, we can make sort of a judgment call, but we'll be seeing a few of these come up here and there through the course of the channel, because I do like adding these into the vehicle dioramas and stuff. So I think we'll keep it short today. Tomorrow's episode we'll do the photo etch and get into the paint. It's taking a little bit longer with this build, but I didn't want to rush. I actually wanted to take my time and make sure that I got all these parts cleaned up and glued together right and nice, and I think we've achieved a pretty good build so far. We seem pretty confident with what we've got going forward. I think we're going to be okay. So there's a look at what we've been able to get accomplished so far. And it's starting to really take shape. Yeah, so we didn't really do much work on the base today. We did a little bit. We'll carve in some foam and stuff, and we'll get the rest of that finished the carving of the foam and stuff. I think we'll get the rest of that finished probably during the course of the day tomorrow. So I'm going to work away tonight on episode 4, I guess it'll be, and we'll get into the photo etch, get it on, and we'll get the coats of a base coat of black on her finally get her into paint. It was took a little bit longer, like I say, but that's modeling. Just, you know, sometimes things are quick together. You look at a small kit, you think, oh, this is going to be quick, but with all those small intricate parts, you know, took our time. So all of that construction, those little bits, very hard to sort of film and do at the same time a little bit. We'll get better as we go along. So, but I didn't, you know, put the dog to sleep. It's not the most interesting stuff to find, fiddling around with those little bits. Now that we have it, we can sort of pointer our way through. You know, when we come back next time, we'll pointer our way through all of those little connect points and what we had to do sort of to get there. But we'll save that for next time. We'll just keep this one short. And I'm going to push on ahead with the FAV, and we'll get back at her. And we'll see you next time when we come back. From the model student to you, keep living, loving, planning something for the future. And if you're not building something, give something a shot. And you might like it. So we'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.